Hello, brothers and sisters. This is Lisa, and I want to share a couple of devotionals with all of you. The first one is titled Don't Bite, and these were posted November 29th of 2019. An amazing fact. Americans report about 16 shark bites, 8,000 venomous snake bites, 400,000 cat bites, 5 million dog bites, and 70,000 human bites each year. Of these, human bites are the most likely to cause infection because of the types of bacteria that live in our mouths. To backbite means to say mean, slanderous, or spiteful things about people when they are not present, to talk about them behind their backs. This can be far more malicious than common gossip and more damaging to our souls. Paul warns, "But if you bite and devour one another, beware lest you be consumed by one another." Galatians 5 verse 15. Backbiting is always destructive. It can wreck friendships and dissolve marriages. It can tear apart a church community. As Christians, backbiting is something we always want to avoid. If we ever find ourselves as part of a conversation attacking another person, the best thing to do is walk away. Or if we know the accusation to be untrue, we might even speak up in defense of the person. If we really love our neighbors as ourselves, if we have the fruit of the Spirit, if we belong to Christ, backbiting can have no part in our lives. Instead, we must, through love, serve one another. For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even this: Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. But if ye bite and devour one another, take heed that ye be not consumed one of another. Galatians 5:14 and verse 15. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are Christ's have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. Galatians 5, verses 22 through 24. And that is the end of that devotional. And the next one I'd like to share with you all is titled Industrial Training and the Poor. If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother, but thou shalt open thine hand wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need in that which he wanteth. Deuteronomy 15, verses 7 through 8. In Israel, industrial training was regarded as a duty. Every father was required to teach his sons some useful trade. The greatest men in Israel were trained to industrial pursuits. A knowledge of the duties pertaining to housewifery was considered essential for every woman, and skill in these duties was regarded as an honor to women of the highest station. Various industries were taught in the schools of the prophets, and many of the students sustained themselves by manual labor. These arrangements did not, however, wholly do away with poverty. It was not God's purpose that poverty should wholly cease. It is one of his means for the development of character. The poor, he says, shall never cease out of the land. Therefore I command thee, saying, Thou shalt open thine hand wide unto thy brother, to thy poor, and to thy needy in thy land. Deuteronomy 15, verse 11. If thy brother be waxen poor, and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him. Yea, though he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee. Leviticus 25, verse 35. When ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not wholly reap the corners of thy field. When thou cuttest down thine harvest in thy field, and hast forgot a sheaf in the field, thou shalt not go again to fetch it. When thou beatest thine olive tree, thou shalt not go over the boughs again. When thou gatherest the grapes of thy vineyard, thou shalt not glean it afterward. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. Leviticus 19, verse 9, and Deuteronomy 24, verses 19 through 21. None need fear that their liberality would bring them to want. Obedience to God's commandments would surely result in prosperity. For this thing God said, "The Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy works, and in all that thou puttest thine hand unto. Thou shalt lend unto many nations, but thou shalt not borrow. And thou shalt reign over many nations, but they shall not reign over thee." Deuteronomy 15, verses 10 and 6. And that is the end of the devotionals. I pray you all have a beautiful day in the Lord. God bless each and every one of you, and I will see you either next video or in the air. Bye-bye.